Wow.
Hi.
It's that day. It's that day. Thank you so much for showing up. We are here for episode 10, our series finale, of which we weren't here. Our terrible, horrible, no good, very bad road trip to save reality. And let's not lie, it has been that, hasn't it? I did not I did not undersell the bitch, did I?
No.
um
You
I've
did
been
a great
Arnica.
job.
Thank you. Bernard, I've been your storyteller and GM for this Good Strong Hands campaign. We're going to go around, we're going to introduce our characters and our players one last time, and I'm going to ask them one last question. And this question is, if you could have added any children's story or fairy tale to this campaign, what would you have added? Let's start with let's start with Rosie. We never start with Rosie.
Not me. Hi, I'm SweetRosieBee. I am playing Stelly Pineheart today in our very last episode, and I'm not emotional at all, and it's gonna be so much fun and not scary in the slightest. And I'm stalling because I can't think of any kids' books at the moment. Well, Phantom Tollbooth is my favorite, and that was already so central to this. I think A Wrinkle in Time would have been very interesting to
Oh,
explore.
love that answer. Awesome. Thank you. Let's pop over to shares.
Hello, everyone. Good evening and merry time zone. My name is Bloodthread Shears, Shears for short. I play Melanie Kurt, and a potential new fighter comes into the ring today. Uh, a book I would have loved to have seen. Oh, God. Oh, crap. I would say it would be a tie between the Boxcar Children or The Secret of Nim.
Ooh, all the little
God
tiny
help
rats,
me.
all the wildkins. Nice. Wonderful answer. I love that so much. Um, Normally I would have our other player Nox introduce herself here. Not here. Nox will be joining us. Everyone fingers crossed. They're just on a flight right now. So we will be seeing them after break. So let's go ahead and pop over to Julie.
Hi. Hey everyone, I'm Julie or Julie CL. I'm playing what did I do, Leland? What do you have a problem?
I don't know. You just sounded like this when you said hi.
Listen, you
It
can't
was
stop
funny.
me. I'm on the other side of the screen. I'll do
I know.
whatever I want.
No, yeah, that's
Um, and I'll be playing Luminen today, the child of the daughter of the rainbow, our little shit of a sylph. And listen, Arnica's really good at making uh, wholesome stories incredibly terrifying. And I know that if we let her get her hands on Pinocchio, none of us would survive. We've already had a flesh puppet. Imagine
oh
if
my.
we gave her permission to do that again.
I just imagined a Pinocchio made out of meat. So
hmm
take that wherever
I
you will.
love Pinocchio.
hmm Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Um, yeah,
Thank you so much. And Leland.
Segue from the meat Pinocchio. Hi, I am Leland slash Leopold the Just. That's meat Pinocchio. Man, that's gonna live with me forever. It's gonna. Um, I am I am playing Topaz, the Stonekin, pretty much a rock biter from Neverending Story. It's what my full influence. I'm even trying to do that voice. So, yeah, and I've recently started to fall for a tree who happens to be on a plane right now. So I guess maybe we'll see some more of that. I don't know, maybe not. There's some crazy shit going on in this episode. Probably no time for flirting. I don't know. I'll probably squeeze in a little bit of flirting. Um,
She's
and
leaving on a jet plane.
yeah, exactly. That's so sad. And damn it, it was a pun. I didn't even get it at first. Anyway, and I may be playing Rhett DeVille again. Who knows? We'll see. He's not dead, so not yet. All right, deuces. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. All right, y'all. Are you ready?
No.
As
We'll
will
ever
ever
be.
be. Yeah.
Eh,
Ready-ish.
You know what? I'll get so here is where we find ourselves. The last time we were here, we found ourselves in the midst of a pitched battle in the throne room at the heart of the Emerald City. The Wizard of Oz wields his powers of a void scion like a fucking pro. He is slaughtering people. The girl army of Oz is falling before him, just down like dominoes. Um, he has managed to control the witches of the east and the west. Uh, they do his bidding, uh, and they are absolutely caught in fierce, pitched combat with Mombi. She is holding her own, but she is out of it is taking every ounce of her energy to hold back from the two of them. And Jack Pumpkinhead has you guys managed to create enough of a distraction that he was able to cross the floor with Tip in his arms and put the boy in the throne. And this is where we begin. As the child's back hits this enormous carved gemstone, this crystal throne, there is a sound. It's a little bit like a gong, but primarily it's it's a low electric vibrational droning sort of sound. If you watch if you're an Avatar fan, if you watched Legend of Korra, then you know the sound that Vatu made every time he got ready to start that energy beam. It sits low and it goes it that sound shakes the throne. You can feel it in your feet, you can feel it in your chest. It vibrates in the back of your jaw. Everything in you, everything in Oz hears the sound that is made as the child's body goes crack. He doesn't look like a child anymore. Um, it looks like a doll. It looks papery and dry, a little bit hollow, and it moves and it bucks, and those vacant eyes stare up at the ceiling as a crack runs along its face and fingers open the jaw from the inside. A hand. Too many fingers, 6 or 7, you can't count, but too many fingers for a human, pries out a too long arm, distends, it pulls the head back, it begins to shed the cocoon. The Osmotipperarius is hatching. Now, there are things about fairies. Fairies can be great friends. That's the thing. Fairies can absolutely be great friends. Fairies are a dangerous thing. Do not ever get it twisted. They are not your prey. You're very lucky they chose not to be your predator. This one, however, is predatory. It's angry. It has it only has about 5 more steps in it. Being shoved into Tip was a movement of last resort. The wizard has killed the Osmotipperarius. Let us be frank. All of this was just a stalling pattern. They just had to keep Ozma alive long enough for the new anchor to arrive. But now the anchor is here, and the wizard hears the sound behind him. He turns, and you can very much see that he knows he has lost. He intends, however, to not lose completely. If he's going down, he's going to take as much of everything as he can with him. The Emerald City begins to crack, it begins to shake. There are shards of gems raining down around you. People are screaming. Fires are starting. The Ozma Tipperarius rips its way out of the remainder of the cocoon. It unfolds itself 6.5 feet tall, long golden curls that are still wet, a little bit slimy. They're stringy as they drip towards the floor. It has too many eyes. It doesn't have a mouth. It's got too many arms. And around its slender waist is a belt, extraordinarily ornate, glowing with magic. It looks at you, Melanie, and in your head, you hear, "Welcome, my anchor. I would have greeted you better if I could."
What 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 happened?
We have won and we have lost. It is time, and you must know this. All of this is happening out of time. You can see things still moving around you, Melanie, but they're moving so slowly. The world has been the world has been paused. It's been put on point 3%, like it's moving so slow. Except for Ozma, except for you. You can see the creaking of its two thin limbs as it slowly tries to bring itself to its full height. And it goes, "Melanie, it's time for you to remember now. You need to understand why you've been called." Around your throat, there is a flash, and another flash again. And you hear Ozma's voice as you see the burning of the pines fill the air around you. You are simultaneously in the throne room and you are not. You can see the child that you were standing just in front of you. And you see that where you are frightened, the child is not. The child is satisfied. The child that you were does not, she understands what the adult you forgot on the way out, which is that Melanie's job was not to save a land. Melanie's job was to save a people. Melanie's job was to save everything else by destroying a land.
I, I thought I failed.
There's a hum in the air, and you see there's a shimmer of something. Wings are unfolding from behind Ozma. They are fragile, they are sharp, and they reflect that firelight in those wavering trees. As the Ozma goes, "Oh no, there's far too much riding on this for me to have ever have picked a failure. I needed not just a champion, I needed a grand champion. Put away your fear, Melanie. I need your strength. I am on the last of mine. Are you ready?"
At this point, she has so many questions. Who gave her the emerald around her neck? Why was she made to think she failed? A million questions going through her mind, and a particular memory goes through her head. When you're a child, you don't, and when you're an autistic child, you think of one thing: home. I need to go home. I need to go home. Melanie was too young at the time to understand that she needed to give up something. She was too young to understand that, and she did not give up. Going through all of this now, she feels that heartbreak. Throughout this entire journey, she really thought she was going to go home. The children always go home. The heroes always go home. But not this time. She knows what she needs to give up. She thinks of everybody. The people in her party now, the people, the anchors, every denizen that she now remembers. Duck, Johnny. She looks at Ozma. Was it you who gave me what's around my neck?
Um, it is. There's a piece of a smile, an attempt of a smile is made. Great for being with no mouth, but you can see it in the way that all those way too many eyes move and kind of shift around as Ozma goes. I am, I am very skilled at getting little girls home and leaving them just enough to be able to find their way back again.
I'm willing to give up my life, my family. I'm willing to give up any chances of going back if it means people here will know that they are safe and that this will not happen again.
All right. And as you say, it will not happen again. Time reasserts itself. The noise, the movement, the smoke. Melanie, please describe to us what happens as the Ozma takes their last 5 steps and the towards you with the wizard between you. How do you and Ozma defeat the wizard?
Well, as you can tell, the rags that she was wearing in Neverland burn into a royal purple dress. And I'm going to have to consult my notes on this one. You hear and and see the pendant around her neck light up a very vivid orange and then a emerald. She holds out the book of the first draft, holds on to, summons her fountain pen. You hear the very eldritch sounds of Where Did You Sleep Last Night, both by Leadbelly and Kurt Cobain from the MTV Unplugged. But it's disjointed. It's like static between stations. The pines in her pendant always burned. More so now that we get closer to Oz. It burns. The fires come up. And It combines with the first draft, igniting it. From that, you see shadows creating a eldritch old Appalachia image, older than anything on earth and scarier than anything that Melanie has ever written or described. It is static, it is fire, it is smoke, it is the fury of the pines. And you hear through that static the voices of those who did not make it and those who helped Melanie. They, the images rise like shadows of pine trees through the fire and travels to the wizard to show him darkness and fire and smoke. I mentioned in the earliest episode, Melanie's worst fear is seeing a version of herself that is better than her, everything she wishes she could be. She turns that around on the wizard and puts it on autistic repeat and letting the words, "Where did you sleep last night? Where did you sleep last night?" overtake him. Anywhere he goes is the image, the smell of burning pines, and projects everything that the wizard wishes he was: better, richer, handsomer, and to remind him of all of those inadequacies. As the smoke goes from his mouth, his eyes, and his ears, it digs deeper into his darkest fear, bringing it to light. And what Melanie doesn't see are three very shadowy figures behind her, two holding on to her shoulders in support, one holding up the book with her. They are human and they are her family. Her father, Dorian, to her right, her mother, Gail, to her left, and beside her, her older sister, Lane. She gathers every bit of will and memory and years of frustration, of trauma, and takes the pen and writes out the wizard. And this is her anchor as well. So she writes him out. She is, after all, a writer, first and foremost.
All right. Um, so as you do that, as your pen scratches across the page and writes, "The Wizard of Oz is no more," Ozma meets your eye and takes one step forward. In that first step, the city quakes. Screams begin to echo out from the midden piles, from the mounted heads on the doors. The dead begin to scream as Ozma walks. Ozma takes a second step. The witches of the east and the west cower before her. They fall to their knees, and as Ozma looks in their direction, they begin to melt slowly. Ozma does not listen to their screams. She takes a third step. In the in the room around you, the dead begin to rise to their feet once more. Um, they shamble, they jerk, they slowly drag themselves if there's not enough to get to their feet again. All of them orient towards Ozma and the wizard. They begin to pull themselves forward. Ozma takes a fourth step and wraps her hands around the back of the wizard's neck. She reaches behind her and with those too many, too long, too extra jointed fingers, unhooks the bracers on this ornate magical belt and slowly peels it off and lofts it looks at it once, and says, "You'll need this. The mirror will not work without it." And takes one last step forward and throws it towards you. As Ozma takes that last step, the vibrational sounds, that droning noise that has not stopped, reaches its fever pitch. Ozma's wings begin to vibrate. The shadows that you have set free claw their way through the wizard and into Ozma. And there's an explosion really does more damage than what happens here. It's more of an implosion. The air rushes inwards. Things collapse. It swallows the scream that the wizard never has time to make. It draws the remains of the witches, mostly melted, into it, and like a dying star, it collapses in on itself, and there is nothing. The dead are gone. Everyone is gone. The remains of Tip, all of it. You are left in an empty, broken, but still standing throne room of the Emerald City. There are survivors of the Girl Army of Oz, a couple of random adventurers here or there, and among them, there is one who knows how to use Ozma's magic belt. Um, it's a story that's been passed down among her family. She knows. Melanie, why don't you tell us about the denizen who steps forward to help you figure out what to do next?
This denizen is a red cap. She's no more than 4 feet tall. She is full of piss, vinegar, and is small and will fight. Brandishing in both her hands is 2 frying pans. One is cast iron, one is steel. You hear the twang of her still beating the shit out of some witches are still trying to fight, and her cussing up a storm, being like, "Motherfucker, I told you to stay down." Okay, okay. Wait. Oh shit. Okay. Hi. Uh, holy shit. You're the anchor. Okay. Hi. I'm Bratier. Nice to meet you.
Um, so Brutier, Melanie looks at you. She's a little bit in shock still, but she's quickly gathering her wits and her composure as she kind of holds this ornate belt, this beautiful master crafts work of hand done lace knots made of metal and precious gems and all sorts of shit. Very cute. She looks at you and goes, "This is a wishing belt. But where is the mirror it goes with?"
Hmm. Hold on. Should be around here somewhere. I know it's here. Mama and Mom told me about it. Where the hell? Hold on. She pulls out her bag. Like, think of it as like the giant tote bag that everybody has. Like from like the 2010s or something like that. And she's just like pulling out shit. You hear the clang of both of her frying pans hit the floor. She's like, "Okay, I know this in here somewhere. Why do I have this? Hold on a second. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, 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 okay. Aha. So this is the map, and I don't know if you use maps in the human world, but we use maps around here, and we have. Where's the inventory? Where's the inventory? Where's the? Here we go. Here we go. Here. See, right here. Right here. See, 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 see. Ha ha ha.
Awesome. So as you point on the map, you're pointing to a spot that looks like it's behind the throne. You can't see it from here, From where you're standing, it looks like there's a wall there, but you are pointing to what is very clearly a room behind the throne. So everyone follows you to the back of the room, and I am going to have you roll a mind to see how easily you find the hidden room there.
Okay, for clarification, as Melanie or as Bree here?
As Breetier.
What?
Is my character there as well? All you said,
Yes.
all of us were. Okay.
Yeah,
One of
you're all there.
one of my specialties is helping others. I don't know if that's beneficial. Sounds like it might be.
Sure
Uh,
is. You can absolutely donate a dice.
okay. Cool.
Oh, good, because Bree Tier's mind is one.
Lord,
Yeah, I kind of. I don't know why. I figured that was kind of a good way to represent how kind of all over the place they are. What are their pronouns?
Bree Tier is she, her.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Oh, well, a 5 and a 4.
awesome.
Oh,
That
So,
five was
Mentions for
yay! Of
sure.
shitty rolls.
that five was mine. So just so you know.
so Breetier, as you lead, you take Melanie by the hand. You're not particularly shy about this. You're very excited. She's an anchor. This is exactly like mom stories. This is even better than mom stories.
Oh my god, this is so freaking cool.
You took down an evil wizard. There's an anchor. This is awesome. So you take her by the hand, you lead her towards the back, and there is an ornate tapestry. And it really does not take you, like, duh, ornate tapestry. Watch this, guys. Swing it to the side, and for a moment, the wall looks flat until you look at it from the side. And you realize that no, actually, you can kind of like even Topaz can fit through this opening. You're gonna have to go sideways, Topaz, but everyone kind of shimmy sideways through, and you find yourself in Ozma's private study, in front of a mirror that takes up almost an entire wall. It is almost 12 feet by 12 feet. The frame around it is golden scroll work. There's It's maybe a language, maybe decorations, none of you. If it's a language, it is the language of Lurleen's time, the first fairy queen, the creator of at least Oz, but possibly Reverie. Like Lurleen is don't go to a bar and say Lurleen because there's gonna be a whole bunch of debates started in Oz. I'm just saying, it's a fight. So, but maybe that's the language. Maybe it's just decorations. Who knows? But there's an enormous mirror that takes up almost the entirety of the wall. This is the mirror that Ozma could use to see anything that happens in any of the fairylands. Also, Ozma can occasionally use it to see out into the real world, which means that the Anchor of Oz can use it to see various worlds as well as anywhere in Oz. But most importantly, once a day, and only once a day, for one time, the Anchor of Oz can combine the magic mirror with the magic belt to move someone or a small group. This is the way through to the heart of Reverie. And in the heart of Reverie, it's it's where your champions have to go. You can feel Melanie can feel it. There is a knowledge in her. She can almost hear Ozma's voice radiating from the pendant around her neck, telling her that the anchors have done all that they have been asked. they are holding the land steady, but that their champions must go forward. There is still one last step to take. The void must be driven back to it. The void itself is an anchor. It anchors everything that is not. You cannot have reality without unreality. You cannot have matter without antimatter. You cannot have reverie without the void. The void must be put back in its own place at the heart of reverie. All hearts have a little bit of darkness deep within them. The only way to get to the heart of reverie is by using the belt and the mirror. Shears, I'm going to ask you to give us your goodbye as Melanie and get your champions to the mirror.
Uh, Melanie stims a little bit upon realizing that what the mirror and the girdle mean. And looks to the champions. Goes to Stelly first. Squats down to me, eye line. And just says, I can I hug you?
Oh, yes, of course, dear.
She gives Stelly a very big hug and says, be safe.
You as well.
Math your way out if you have to.
I'm pretty clever in that regard. Are you going to be okay?
In time. I
You
think I
remind
need
me
to
of
mourn.
someone I met a very long time ago, and if you're half as brave as she was, I think you've got this.
Who?
Oh, it was centuries ago now. Or maybe just yesterday, but it was a young girl. She protected my home. Gosh, you remind me so much of her, but that was so long ago.
Melanie connects the dots. You were in the pines.
Last name is Pine Heart. Haven't been there in a very long time, though. Why are you crying? It's okay, it's okay. And I'm gonna hug her too. Hug her back tighter.
You got out. You got out. Oh my god, you got out.
Yes.
Oh my god. You got out. That was me.
What? That was you.
That was me.
Oh, you've grown up so much. Thank you for everything you did for us. Then and now. Oh, you're going to be spectacular. I know it.
Be safe.
I will. You as well.
Melanie will hug Stelly. Give her a
I'll
gentle
hug back
kiss on the
tight.
forehead. She'll go to try slowly get up, realize her knee is starting to give out, and she doesn't have her cane, and decides, I want my shillelagh back. And she summons a beautiful inlay of a shillelagh cane with details of a pen, a ship, a mountain, a crown, and images of the denizens, and carefully pushes herself up and goes over to Topaz.
I like your crown.
What? She like reaches up like, oh, oh, I have a crown. And she takes the magic again and turns that. Instead of a crown, you see another fountain, a hairpin in the shape of a dip pen, and then just puts it in her hair. Betty. You kept his name for me.
Yes, right here. You can say it now? Penny.
Ben. Mm,
Keep practicing.
be safe.
Can
Keep
you
that
do
wound
me
safe.
a favor?
Of course.
Where we are going may be dangerous for my little friend here. Could you keep little Sebastian safe? He sleeps during the day and only eats bugs.
And then the little albino leopard gecko kind of peeks his head out from like a crevice in Topaz's chest, and then like yawns, and then he kind of starts making this clicking noise, and then it crawls out onto his hand, and then he like offers it to you, um, and then he reaches into another crevice and pulls out like a chunk of dirt that has a bunch of like worms in it for you to feed him.
Melanie holds up like her hand for the gecko.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like giving it like little gentle pats and then sees the worms like, put that over there.
Okay.
I'll make sure that he is cared for. Just
Do you have a throne?
yes.
Okay, well, just right on the armrest of the throne, there's just like a pile of clumped dirt with some worms. Like they're like mealworms, and they're like kind of climbing around in it.
Cute, Chris.
She puts the gecko onto the table nearby and gives his arm a hug
Yeah, it's about
and
all you can manage.
writes like with her finger the word protect. She goes over to Pi, taking a deep breath. My trauma had nothing to do with you. I'm well aware you do not like me, but I cannot ever repay the debt that I owe you. I want you to be safe. I want you to be able to come back. I want to be able to call you my friend. One step at a time, you know?
If Nox were here, this is where she'd say something that would make us all cry. She's so good at that.
For Pie, she takes out from the bag a piece of paper and folds it into a paper crane. And on it, she writes on the wings hope and light and hands it to her and says, ethically sourced.
See, you know,
She turns to Luminen, her back a little bit straighter now. And her hands are shaking. You're a little shit. But I would not have been here if not for you. And you're a mirror, basically, for me. I spent my whole life running. I have a lot to learn. You may be a little shit, but you got a lot of heart in you. I want give yourself credit.
I mean, statistically, my heart's only 2 out of a possible 4, but I do really appreciate that. And really, so much of this is on me for judging a book by its cover. You've done good, and I have to say, I have bad news for you. This is my home. You're the anchor of Oz, and you're not going to get rid of me that easy. So, I'll see you on the other side of this. Maybe we can sit down for tea. What do you say?
I would like that. And she takes out the heart book and writes the full title for Luminen. And underneath that, Royal Advisor to the Writer Queen of Oz.
Right, so my first bit of advice is going to involve wardrobe, but I'll save that for later. This is a nice moment.
She holds out her hand.
Lumen takes it.
Pulls him in for a hug and says, come back alive. I need somebody to help me discern the assholes from the true.
Trust me. I know my way around assholes.
Okay. All right. You know what? We're gonna let Luminen know they were an asshole
Clip it.
for y'all hurt my feelings.
Someone clip it.
The
quick.
world doesn't need to know that I said that, but the ball was teed. The
No,
ball was
that's why we're
teed.
clipping it, so it's easily,
Julie.
I want
Terrible.
evidence. Get the receipts.
All right. So look
Oh,
at that.
where is
We can have nice
Talk?
things. So Talk has been very quiet. Just kind of by the door. It's been a rough couple days for this dog. The dog is deeply unhappy. But he comes over to you. His armor is a little bit banged up. It did protect though. The good boy is scuffed and scratched. He is bloody at the muzzle. He did his job. but he is tired and he looks up at you. He goes, "You are a good girl. You are a good girl, Melanie."
You are the best boy I've ever met. And huskies are little shits. Pit bulls are where it's at.
They have such pretty singing voices, though.
No, they don't. No, don't get them started. Don't lie to them. Don't lie to anyone else. Oh, that noise.
You must dislike bagpipes too.
I love a bagpipe.
That's the sound of my people.
Um,
But for talk, she uses her magic to create for the best dog in the world a stick for him to play with. And it says the world's best stick for the best doggo. And in her book, she writes TikTok, the world's best dog, royal guardian to the writer queen.
right. So he takes the stick and he is he still has a job to do. Yes, he technically got the human. He did what Milo asked him to technically do. He could fulfill this letter of what Milo said, which is get the humans where they need to go. But he also understood that what Milo wanted was for him to assist with the entire quest. Talk will be fault. Talk will be taking the Anchor's champions forward, but he will. But it isn't. He's planning on returning to you. So,
She Melanie will drop down regardless of how badly her knees hurt. Give him the biggest hug and a final scritch and cry. Come back. Make sure you come back. And with the last of her magic, restores the armor and gives him the biggest forehead kiss and like the ear noogies that the dogs go. "Mrrr."
okay.
You protect, you attack, but make sure you come back.
All right. So, Melanie stands up. She takes the belt, which she's been holding, and ties the girdle around her waist. And as she does, she understands how to work the mirror, and more importantly, where to send the mirror. Melanie presses her hand against the glass, and it wavers, and it shimmers. And there is a very crystalline kind of darkness on the other side. It You realize that you are looking up into some kind of alien starless sky through water. If you walk through the mirror, you will walk out of Lurleen's pool. You will be in the heart of reverie. Will you walk through the mirror, champions?
Luminan's gonna look to Topaz, Stelly, Pi. Well. Oh, yes, and of course, Retier, was it?
Yeah, hi. She like holds out her hand, like, hi, nice to meet you.
Oh, okay, we're doing this. All right. We're about to dive headfirst into the heart of everything bad in the universe. So I hope that frying pan is nonstick. Let's do this thing.
It
And she
is
pulls
not
out
a
the
stick.
cast iron and she's like, here, hold this. And it's like 40 pounds.
I'm not touching that, but thank you.
What? It's clean.
Luminin.
I don't lift. What?
It's made out of metal. It is not a stick.
All right. Luminen walks to the mirror.
Oh, it's iron. Oh, shit. She didn't know that.
Oh, no.
She's too hyped. She's just like, all right, let's do this. All right, wait, where the hell is... oh, I'm sorry, Lex. I'm sorry.
Oh, poor baby.
Dog's
Yeah.
like,
He's
why are
like,
you
let's
waving
fucking
around
go.
frying pans?
Whoa, who I gotta get at? um, yeah, I'm definitely. I will wait until everyone else walks through first to make sure they safely make it through, and then I'll follow after them.
I'll hold a hand out to Brutier. Us littlies gotta stay together. Shall we?
Heck yeah. Wait,
Let's
did you
go.
say you do math?
I do lots of math, yes.
And just to clarify, is your character a
You would be
mushroom?
great at our tavern. We need math people. We really need math people. We're like in short supply right now. There was like such a shortage for some reason. Mom and Mama were trying to get Uncle Shakespeare to come, but he hates coming to the tavern because like I fight him all the time, and then all of a sudden Mom and Mama are like off somewhere, like trying to like negotiate stuff. But eh,
Well, after this is all said and done, I will happily do math at your tavern.
yay!
Cannot
Oh,
wait to
okay.
see it. Let's
And
go.
yeah, and before Bretier leaves, she looks at the lady, like the very nice lady in the pretty dress and the sparklies, and be like, wait, Melowy? Was that your name? Anyways, don't worry. If you hear somebody shout out my name really loud and really angry, that's my mom's. I wasn't here. I really wasn't.
All right.
So
Let's go.
All right. Pie waits, watches everyone else go through. Pie gracefully steps through behind everyone else, leaving Topaz. And you said you were going last.
Yeah, I was gonna go. Let's just make sure everyone else made it through. And in this moment, I would have said something sweet to Pie, but here we are.
It's unspoken.
It's unspoken. We share looks.
So,
um, yeah.
Leland, I'm going to ask you to roll your heart for me real quick.
Okay. I got 3 dice for that. Ooh, oh, nice. Okay. A 6, a 4, and a 2.
Cool. Here's the reason why I asked you to roll your dice. So as everyone steps out through the mirror, the glass shimmers. There's a moment where you can't tell cold from wet, from dry, from all the sensations are contradictory and the same as you are spat through and out of the pool. So almost too fast to be wet. You're a little damp. Um, Leland, I had you roll because I wanted to see if you were going to panic when you realized that you were in water, if you were going to come out of the water fast enough that you didn't get scared.
Yeah, I've very much rattled, though. Still.
Uh, yeah, you did an immensely brave thing because you realized that you were looking at a reflection, looking up through water. There was no way for you to tell how shallow that water was, and you still walked through anyway.
Yeah.
So go ahead and definitely mark a spirit on your thing.
Ooh, I
Woo!
like spirits.
And the water it briefly covers all of you, but you are so tall that your head immediately breaks the surface. You step out, and the five of you find yourself on a very small little chunk of land. It is a broken piece of diamond. The facets on it are all accidental, they're just cleaved in there from natural breaks. There is a tree made of equally crystalline material growing next to the pool. And at the top of a tiny, I hesitate to call it a hill. It's not really that big. There is a building. It shifts. Sometimes it's a temple and it's quite grand. A couple times it's a hovel. Once or twice it's a cave. Once it's a castle. It's a bunch of different buildings and no buildings all at the same time. None of it's real. Everything's fake. And that is it must be the only place to go because everything else around you is an utter empty darkness.
This is so
Hey,
cool.
hey, quiet down. Quiet down. Don't need to
I
provoke any
don't
more
get to see
attention than we're
shiny
already
stuff.
getting. We need to move quietly. We need to move quickly. We need to not touch anything. Capiche?
She like looks down at her feet, touching the ground.
All right. Luminan's gonna very cautiously fly forward and look around.
I'm gonna
Um,
walk as slow. I want to walk as quietly as I can, but I am also a big stone creature, so
I
I
cringe
do
every
my
time
best.
I hear a footstep from Topaz behind me.
You just see Bretier holding her frying pans, like the steel in one, the cast iron in the other, like it's like a piece of paper, and be like, "This is
okay.
so cool."
You guys are moving very stealthily. You are not drawing any attention, but also there is no attention to be drawn. This entire island is only a couple 100 feet from one end to the other, from front to back. There is nothing. There is no one. There is no sound. Uh, the only reason you can't hear your own heartbeats is because the nothingness around you eats the sound of it before it echoes in your ears. Um, Only as you approach the door to this temple does it begin to finally solidify and take shape. Itchy ditchy ice cream, itchy ditchy. Julie, why don't you tell me what shape the temple takes?
Ooh. Uh, is this a void power thing that's supposed to scare us?
It is no, it is just the fact that it is just the nature of the heart of reverie that it reflects those who approach it. And you are the
Mm,
one who approached it first.
okay. So if this reflects the heart of Luminan as they step forward, um, it is a castle of glass. It is transparent, it is direct, it hides nothing, but it is more fragile and vulnerable than it ever really wants to be. And if there was light, it'll be shining through it. But these days, there hasn't been a whole lot of that.
Okay. All right. So this delicate darkened glass castle flickers into solidity. It sort of looms above you all. It's big and yet it feels smaller than it should be. It feels like it's hunched in on itself, like it's being compressed. The doors swing open, and now for the first time, you hear noise. It is the song that is being sung, and it is a song, is coming from maybe 100 voices deep within the darkness. It is dark. It is ominous, but the melody itself also has a hint of hope to it. Um, there are figures moving among the darkness, robed, cowled, hidden in them. And one of them breaks forward and begins to walk towards the door and all of you. The figure comes into the doorway, steps into the light, and as he pulls back his hood, Talk drops his stick and just begins to howl. He's spinning in circles, chasing his own tail with joy as Milo drops to his knees and throws out his arms and goes, "Oh, who has been the best fucking boy?" Um, Now, this is Milo looks up at all of you and he just kind of smiles sadly because Pie he knows, and Topaz he kind of knows, but the rest of you, You don't know who Milo is. You don't know that this is the man who died to get you here. You don't know how much he sacrificed, how hard and long he worked. He doesn't know what you guys have done. But he smiles warmly at all of you anyway, and he goes, I'm going to assume that you are our champions.
Why, yes.
Unfortunately.
Indeed.
Oh, thanks
I'm
for giving me
so
the directions to
excited.
Oz. That was super helpful.
Uh, and he kind of pats you on the head as he stands up for Tyranny. He's like, you know, it's what I do. Don't worry about it. Come with me. The inside of the glass palace is enormous. You cannot see the ceiling. You can't quite see the walls. It is significantly larger from the inside than it was from the outside. There are plinths disappearing up into the endless roof, uh, wrapped round with stairs. There are doors, 1,000 doors, all of them going to nowhere and everywhere simultaneously. They're on the floors, on the ceiling, on the roof, on the walls. Lord, no, I said walls. I'm fine. I said windows and walls. I'm cool. I will not sing it. I've got this. I'm under control.
Oh no, I'm gonna sing it
I've
in
got
my
it.
head.
You know I'm
Add
adding
to
that to the playlist now. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Uh,
I've worked through it. Okay. So you're in the you're in the glass palace. Um, and Milo looks at all of you and he goes, I have to tell you, this will affect everything that happens from here, but I cannot let you go in without understanding what will happen. The anchors did everything they could. They did, they held the worlds long enough to hold the heart of reverie and get you here, but the void has surged. There, his voice kind of breaks and he reaches down and he holds talk, rubs him real tight, and he goes, the void surged and the worlds are gone. All of them.
How do we get them back?
Um, he laughs and his laugh is kind of thick and watery, and he goes, you don't, it's not, you can't get them back. The best we can do is the anchors must remake them. That is the point of the anchor. The point of the anchor is to remake the world when the world is lost, to rebuild it when there is nothing left.
So what's the problem? Every world has an anchor now. That's the whole reason we did all of this. Why can't they remake it now?
He turns and looks at you and goes, where were the anchors?
Well, Rhett is the captain of the ship in Neverland, and also Pan. It's confusing.
Um, Milo puts his hand on the widest part of your big arm, Topaz, and he just kind of pats it and he goes, the Neverlands are gone. And Rhett may be gone too.
Wait a minute.
Um,
Wait a minute.
so many good boys on that ship.
Wait, so this happened in the 2 minutes since we got here? Just everything surged and that's it?
Milo laughs, and it is like, I know you're tired of him laughing, but he's just, look, it's a laugh or cry situation. He goes, there is all time and no time as you move from the mirror to the tears. There is, the void surged. It has moved. But we are not without hope. As the anchor's champions, You carry the heart of them. You carry their tokens with you. What I have for you will, he sighs, what I have for you will bring the anchors here. It will allow you to pull them from the last second before the void surged. It will let you save them from the world and bring them to the heart of reverie. But the cost will be very, very high.
Of course it will.
What do you mean?
And you see Bree Tear, like, throughout the entire journey, she's been like, holy shit, this is so cool. And not realizing she's been told the sanitized versions of what her moms have done.
My mom's Uncle Shakespeare. What? But wait a minute. What? What do you mean that? What do you mean they're gone? Wait. No. Time out. What do you mean that they're gone? I, like, Mom and Mama never told me about any of this kind of stuff.
Um, and Milo just kind of, he pats you on the top of the head, and it's not great, but it's all he has for you is he goes, it's gone. There's, what are you willing to sacrifice to save the world?
What's left?
Ourselves.
Topaz is right. That's what this is coming down to. That's what this always came down to.
What? And she drops both frying pans, and you hear clang. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I need to process this. And she like goes like mutters like super fast. If you've ever watched Blossom and Six going off, that I can't do it, but you just imagine she's doing it, and she's just like, wait a minute, I have to die. Oh, my mom and mom are gonna kill me. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. I have wait, do I have antidotes? Oh, I don't have antidotes. Dagger. Oh, they're gonna resurrect me and kill me again. This is not good. Oh shit. Okay. So
Calm
you said sacrifice?
down. If you
Can
want
I hit
to
them
save,
really hard with like my frying pans?
Mm-mm.
Is there a shin
Not.
I can hit?
It's not how. It's not how the nothingness of it all works. There's nothing to hit. It just eats. It takes. It erases.
do you care for what you know? If so, then do not fret. This is the only way to save it all. My stone remembers. This happens over and over again. It is inevitable.
But mom, mama, Auntie Dot, Uncle Shakespeare, the, the really tall giant lady, Mellowy?
Yeah, that's
Uh,
the name. Look, I'm sorry, new kid, but
I have a name. And she like stomps her foot.
read tier. I'm sorry. This is how it was always going to be. This is why we're champions. Champions don't come from times of peace and prosperity. Champions are the ones that make the peace and prosperity. That's what Mom always told me. She had a lot of nice things to say about this Dorothy girl. She was always dancing around and flitting about, but I knew, I knew that this is where it was all going to be, and that's why I wanted to run away so bad. And yet, we're here because there's a few things you can't run away from. Life. Life is one of them. Life took us here. We buck up and we do it, or everything goes away, and this was for nothing.
Milo, what is the next step? We need not waste more time. You are muted, Milo.
Muted.
Milo, take your hand off of your human mouth so we can hear you.
I'm gonna
It's
fight.
okay, Lexi. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
No.
We're okay. It's okay.
So, all right. Yeah, I almost made it. I almost made it through the last stream without accidentally muting myself for 3 whole minutes. Anyway, woo! Stream continues. So Milo walks you guys towards the center of this room. The song of the end of the world that is being sung has not stopped. It is louder than ever. And these 5 pillars that stretch up into the nothingness, just the stairs wrap around them. He goes, head up. At the top, you'll find your door. Go through that door, and you will pass out of the temple into the actual crumbling heart of reverie, the only place where the void is vulnerable to be beaten back. Um, but know that it is gathering protections. It can speak to you there in ways that it never has before. It will deal with you. It is prepared and waiting. It does not want to be contained.
Bree tear upon listening to Luminan's words and hearing everybody. And you hush. Goes back, picks up her frying pans that she dropped. Those things were expensive. And red caps are known for their temper. She, in her beautifully knitted cap, her red scarf, and her normally green eyes turning very, very steel gray from anger, decides if this is what saves mom and mama, I'm going to beat the shit out of this thing until it is pulp and I can cook it for the pigs.
That's the
And
spirit.
she grabs both of them and it's just like, point me to something I can beat the ever loving crap out of. Now!
If
Think
it
it's
would
something
help
there.
you relieve some stress and clear your mind, you may attack my leg. I assure you, it will not hurt.
You gonna need that leg. I would take that back if I was you.
I will
And
never
she's just like there,
understand
like
you, Topaz.
standing in like fight position, be like, point now.
Door up.
And Milo points towards one of the endless plinths. He points you towards the stairs. Your door is at the top.
Yeah, she just elbows Luminen really in the shin and then just like walks forward.
Well, she wasn't around for long, but she left one hell of an impression.
Fuck you!
Hmm? Oh, I said that out loud. Sorry.
Well, all right. So Talk looks at all of you, and he just kind of sits. He sits next to Milo. He's not leaving his boy. Not again. Not. You know what? he's come to the end. Either you guys will save the day or you won't. But if you do, good for you. If you don't, he will be with Milo in the end. So talk sits down. I promise y'all not what happened, dog. That's the only way I can keep that promise.
Give him a
Not
little head
that
squish.
anything terrible is about to happen to y'all. So why don't you guys all go ahead and head up those stairs?
Peace out, reality, or whatever you call this. Yeah,
Now,
I will head up there first to make sure it's safe for everyone. The staircase.
all right. So, what order are you guys going to go in? It's Topaz first, then I'm gonna assume it's Brit who headed out first but has little legs. So Topaz is just gonna step over you by accident. Um,
Ow, 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 ow.
I didn't do it. Stelly and Lumen, who's in the middle and who's last?
I will go last.
All right, I'll be in the middle.
All right. So the stairs are a weird space. You take a step up one of them and you find yourself halfway up the room. You take another step and you cannot see the floor. You can still very clearly hear the song of the end of the world. If anything, it is louder. It echoes. It's more sonorous the higher you get, but there is nothing left to see. You take a third step and you find yourself at the top. It's not so much that there's a door there, so much as just you understand why Milo said door because you are very definitely transitioning from one space to another. That said, it is not a door. As you step off the third step, there are no more stairs. There is no more temple. You find yourself on the exact same island you stood on when you stepped out of Lurleen's tears, but it is inverted. The diamonds glow with a black fire. The water is not there. It is a sheet of glistening grayish ice. The tree is a black crystal. It is leafless. It is dead. And there is where the temple stood, where the glass palace darkly glimmered, an explosion. It looks as if the crystallized air has tried to force itself out. It looks as if the island is caught in a violent birthing of itself. Like it's a hot mess. This disjointed Escher esque arrangement of angles and light swirling around you. Honestly, it's a good thing some of y'all don't have stomachs because well, I mean, you got a stomach, but it's not a meat stomach because it would make you sick. It's probably for the best that humans aren't here to see this. This is the kind of eldritch shit that never quite leaves you. Now, in front of all of that, there is a small, shriveled thing. It's just, it looks like a fuzzy little ball of something. Like, not good fuzzy, just gross fuzzy. It's pulsing. It's a little bit mossy. It's a little bit licheny. It's a little bit moldy. It looks like a big old mold ball. It's just kind of pulsing. And it is the void. It's not as big as you thought it would be. It's not as frightening, but it is. It is. Don't let it don't get it twisted. It looks helpless. It's not. And between the void and you, there stand four figures. The first of them is blonde. Her head sits a little bit to the side, almost as if it's been reattached incorrectly. She wears a crown that is the skull of her enemy, with her enemy's crown hammered through it. The red Alice, with her spiked mallet, leans and looks at Pie. She looks the rest of you up and down, and she just kind of giggles. It kind of echoes wrongly. You can hear half of the laughter escaping the incorrect stitches, putting her head back on her body. A large man stands next to her. He is Trey, just rough. Just, he is, if there was a back of the truck stop calendar, that's where this big red-headed dude would be. He'd be Mr. October for back of the truck stop. I'm just saying. Um, Captain Pan is huge and handsome. He is everything Peter feared men were. He has two hands, but he wields a razor sharp hook anyway. And he stares you down, Topaz. I don't. There's no way you would recognize him. Rhett might recognize Peter in him, but you know what he is, but you don't recognize him. Um, there is an enormous fusion of a woman, dual wielding tongfas in all four hands. Her hair is black and blonde. Her eyes are blue and green. She has all the beauty that you never got to see in Rhyme and Reason. And her eyes are very, very cold. And next to all of them is a younger man than the Captain Pan. He's lanky and lean. He's slim and beautiful. He has Tip's every wish and Ozma's every hidden desire. He is not the Ozma Tipperarius, but he is the Tipperarius Ozma. The Void has done what Milo has suggested you do, and at the last possible moment, he has pulled every single anchor that you thought you had lost and has offered them a devil's deal. Whether or not they accepted it, I can't tell you, but he definitely took enough of something from them to make these monsters, and they stand between you and the void. So, we're getting ready to go to break. Ha 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 ha.
Ooh.
And when
Ah.
we will be engaging in combat. Because I'm not kidding, y'all are going to have to fight these things because they are certainly here to whoop your ass tonight.
uh,
So,
Glad I left my lizard back at
I am,
the
I
other
mean,
place.
yes, yes, let's be glad you left your lizard. Your lizard is absolutely safe.
Yeah, perfectly fine.
So,
Perfectly
we're going to go
fine.
on break. We'll be right back. We'll see y'all about 10:15. Let's pay these measles pills.
Help.
Don't help them. Hi.
God damn it!
I'm
Ah,
scared. I'm so scared.
going
Okay.
back to our Muppet voice, AC.
Hi, we're back. It's been a great break, hasn't it? Everybody, get catch your breath, get something to drink. Did you hydrate? I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's where we are. We find ourselves on the edge of is and ain't, real and fake, um, reverie, fantasy, reality, and the mundane all together. The heart of reverie, heart of fantasy itself, place where the void can be beaten back and contained. Um, the void itself we see is like all real fears, smaller than you would think. More easily defeated now that you can actually see the shape of it. You just have to have the strength to fight it. But first, you got to get through all these big ass bitches in front of y'all. Uh, they are they belong fully to the void. They are scions of the void now, regardless of who they once were, regardless of what they did or did not choose, the past they did or did not take. They are the void's scions now. There's nothing you can do other than defeat them to get to it. Free them from this last hell. Do them that favor. So let's see. How do we want to do this? Let's start with who wants to go first. What order are we fighting in?
Should we roll body or something? Oh, or Bree tears ready.
Tears
Before
going in
Bree
swing.
gets into fight, she pulls out from the giant tote bag and like pulls out a rubber chicken, throws it out, and just like finds something that her mom's got from their adventuring time. Something called a cassette player. I don't know,
Sounds
but
Italian.
she puts it on. They told her like put it on and noise comes in, and it makes you happy. And they used to do that just so she would fall the fuck asleep. Unfortunately, the mixtape has lots of punk music, so
That's
she
a good thing.
she like puts it in, slaps it closed. Like, okay, the arrow button. No, no, that button. Boom. And all she hears is the opening riffs to Banana Splits, and it is loud. It is brash. It psychs her up. And if you've ever watched the scene in Kick Ass with Hit Girl, she picks up her frying pans, lets the temper of being a red cap and having the power of God and anime on her side, runs directly at her foe to take out his kneecaps.
Okay, and who are you targeting?
Hmm. Who's closest?
Really, they are all ranged in a semicircle on the same plane. So your options are the Red Queen. Your options are Red Alice, Captain Pan, the Twin Anchor Darvo, or the Tipperarius Ozma.
Hmm. She's gonna go. Hmm. Since she's like running straight ahead, like I would imagine the temperate would be the one right across from her.
Okay.
So she's gonna run, and for somebody so small, she is fast. And if they try to hit, they she will baseball slide like onto the thigh and then hit at the side of the kneecap.
Okay, I'm gonna have you roll body.
Body roll, body roll, body roll.
Can't not do it.
We're just doing what we're told. We're told to roll body.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, question. She has a specialty in fighting. Can I add that?
All right, let's take a look. So what does it say about a specialty in fighting?
It's either going to add a dice or probably make the success easier or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for because it is taking for fudging ever to load on my thing.
Ooh, I can
I'm
search
trying to.
also.
There we go. Red cap specialties. Yeah, you can go ahead and take an extra dice.
Okay.
Woo!
And would this be considered a mountain?
We're at the top of stairs, right?
I
I don't know.
mean,
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, it's a
no,
bit of a stretch.
no, it was a good try, but no.
It was a good
Okay, I tried. Uh, let's see. Do. All right. Smoking moves, you got him. Oh, she misses.
No! With
Her
all those
anger.
dice?
Yeah.
Arnica, we take it
Look,
back.
her
It's a
body
mountain.
is 2. She has a body of 2.
What?
Oh.
She's little. I don't know what to tell you, man. I didn't make her
She's
small.
little. I don't know what to
Um,
tell you.
so the Tipperarius Osmo looks like a brunette Sephiroth clone. Just know this. He is tall and lanky like that. His foot flashes out quickly. He barely glances at you. He's really staring down the real threats as he kicks you. He punches you like a fucking football. You tumble through the air and you smash against Topaz, which is great because it keeps you from skidding off the edge. I'm going to need you to mark a physical condition.
Okay.
I will try to
Here.
catch the little thing and then sit it back down safely.
You know what? You're so broad. I'm just gonna let you catch her. I thought about making you roll for it, but Lord, I don't want her flying off into the void, so I'm just gonna let you catch
Yeah,
This
her.
is what he was built for.
yeah, exactly.
He's a
I'm good.
wall.
Okay, so when I mark a condition, where do I put?
It's at the top of the or bottom of the right first of the first sheet. Like afraid, rattled, terrified.
Just check the box. Probably injured is my assumption.
Um, you can pick which one. You can pick afraid, injured, rattled, terrified, but know that some of these come with penalties to your roll. You are not
Mm,
unconscious, broken, or dead. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it looks like afraid, rattled, and terrified are like 3 tiers of kind of the same thing. So I would definitely
Mhm.
not pick one. I would pick afraid if you're gonna go with scared.
da. She's gonna go with afraid because she's still in like shock of like, oh shit, this is bad.
Yeah. Um,
Consequences for not knowing the full story in this economy?
consequences. What are those? So the temporary Osmo kind of flicks his hair back out of his face and he looks the rest of you up and down and he goes, well, we're waiting.
I look to Topaz, who seems very strong and reliable, and to Pi, who drained a man's life force.
Yeah, I would like to roll a corruption move, mark a permanent
Ooh.
shadow. Bloop. I want to do bellow, um, where I mark one shadow and deafen a number of creatures equal to my heart score until the end of the scene. So any of these, especially specifically the spellcasters, I really want to deafen.
Okay.
And I'm gonna let everybody know. Um,
Do like the little one and cover your ears.
the
Wait,
pancake
what?
ears. No, it's so hard.
Oh, uh-oh.
And I'm gonna
Okay.
go. Never mind. Go ahead, Arnica.
Oh no, please.
What are you gonna go like?
And then just like rattle the environment if there is any environment to rattle. This place is so weird.
Okay. So that sound shakes the firmament. The actual air around you feels almost jello-ish as it vibrates. The crystal picks up the resonance of it. It trembles the ground. Little pieces of black diamond fall off. They're raining around the void itself. And while your teammates have managed to cover their ears, the other side has not. Each of them take one damage, and
Nice.
the twin anchors, things that used to be rhyme and reason, were directly in your path. Blood spills from their ears, it trickles from their nose. They are unable to cast.
Yes.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna just,
Yeah.
if I have a movement thing I can do, I mainly just want to keep in whatever sort of protective position I can be for the others.
Cool.
Like
Uh,
take a shift, like a step in front of them or something, if possible.
so that's the good news. There's bad news.
Okay.
Uh,
What else is
behind
there?
behind the line of enemies, you see the thing that is the void. It chuckles, it laughs, and it squirms, and it is noticeably, visibly larger than it was. You have used a corruption in the presence of the physicality of the void. You can absolutely use it to defeat its scions, but you make the void stronger in doing so. Please mark a permanent shadow.
Definitely.
Uh, Luminin, Stelly, what you doing, y'all?
Stelly is going to take that little nub of a pencil she has and do some quick calculations in her mind, looking at the enemies on the field. And Alice's stitches look to be the most vulnerable to her. Um, she is going to summon forth a little bit of mathematical magic and in the air draw the formula for very sharply acute isosceles triangles to form a pair of scissors to snip those threads at Alice's neck.
Ooh.
Nice. Okay. Um, so I'm gonna have you roll your magic for that.
A heart?
Yep, go ahead and roll your
Okay,
heart.
please. Okay, 2 4s and a 6.
All right. So that's six. You have a success with a boon. This is going to work, but
Oh, the void.
the void does draw strength from the savagery of this attack. As the triangles you form, they cut through the air. You can hear the sound of them whining. They nick the edges of the thread. It slowly unravels and her head wobbles on her neck twice and falls to the side. It
Oh.
lolls as she swings the croquet mallet to catch her balance. She's not down, but she is injured. Red Alice has now taken 2 hit points of damage. Everyone else has taken one. Luminin, it's your turn.
Ah, Luminin takes a deep inhale. Not one for magic or fighting. Really, just running away was their thing. So, you gotta do what you gotta do. Luminin looks the void in the eye and says, "Eat up, you fucker." And Luminan's gonna take some shadow, point to permanent shadow, in order to use the innate self ability, corruption, inhabitation. Mark one shadow, enter the body, and take control of a creature until the beginning of your next turn.
Oh
I
shit, that's cool.
look to Captain Pan and I say, "You look like someone I snogged in the library." Luminin turns into air and flies into the mouth of Captain Pan and would like to attempt to take the rest of Alice's head off. with
Alrighty.
hooks, with Pan's hook.
Absolutely. So behind the ranks, the void swells again. It has almost doubled in size. It chuckles deeply and it rises and it goes, I knew I could count on all of you, one way or another. Um, Pan chokes as you force your way into his throat. You force his lungs to expand. You can feel the way he fights against you. But this body moves for you now. It moves at your will. This is your puppet. You lift the arm. The hook is tight in your hand and it flashes. There's a rip and there is a stench of rotten roses and old blood. Red Alice collapses in a puff. She has taken her last 2 damage. Red Alice has been removed from the board. Um, so you now have control of Captain Pan. You have control of his body, his moves, which are just any move. You can pick any moves and any corruptions from the human playbook as long as you are carrying inside Pan
That's until my next turn starts.
until your next turn starts.
So it's not long.
Well, um, so is there, I think that was everyone. Yeah.
Pie, help us.
Hi.
Yeah, where's Pie? Come on, Pie. Do something
So
cool.
Help us, pretty
I
tree
am Groot.
lady.
I am Groot.
I am, I'm going to say that Pi is locked in combat with Pi is locked in combat with what's his face, the Tipperarius Ozma. Pi is using Vine Twine, which is allowing Pi is manipulating the crystal tree. She's using it to fight the Tipperarius Ozma, who is doing some Sephiroth ass sword shit. The two of them are very busy together. It might
Cool.
take them a minute. Um, that said, Twin Anchor Darvos. They can't cast anymore, but they're still real big. They're still right there, and they have moved quickly. Everybody roll a body real quick and tell me who has the lowest.
Do they have 4 legs too?
No, they got 2 legs, 4 arms.
Okay, good. That would be worse.
It would. Okay, 5.
Nice.
6.
I only have 1 die, so I'm kind
Leland.
of relieved.
I rolled three
Um.
ones. So
Oh,
whatever that means, something probably just mediocrely bad.
you get a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, just a little.
Okay.
There we go.
So
We're good.
I'm gonna need to take a photo of this again.
We trust
Cause
you though, but what you can go ahead and call it out because I'm
Yep.
curious. It's eating me up. After my 3 ones, I need a
A
win.
1 and a 6.
Oh, okay,
Nice.
there we go.
All right, that's
Duality of characters. Oh dear God, help.
quality of it. All right, Leland. It's you.
What?
It's you,
What?
good
What
buddy.
happened? What? I don't get it.
You are the focus of their attack.
Good.
So,
This was a good thing. The rest, I did this on purpose. Just saying. Remember how I said I step in front of you?
hmm
There we go.
it's a good thing you stepped in front of them. Their scream, their bellow is not quite as loud as yours, but it is most certainly echoing. It is shrill and violent as they launch themselves across this dark
You want me to do
level
that one too?
ground. No, you already you already
Oh, I got a
moved.
different. I can do a high pitched one. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. If you want me to sound like a pterodactyl,
No, please don't sound like a pterodactyl in my ears.
you,
So
you got it.
have they have batons, they have tonfas in each hand,
Oh,
and
Nightwing.
they bring them in, 2 against your head, 2 against your arms. There are cracks forming in the stone of your body. I'm gonna need you to take 2 damage because you rolled 3 1s. So mark 2 conditions.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's fine, right?
Exhausted and afraid. I'm afraid Pie's gonna get injured. I'm just kidding. I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid of
Be afraid of everything. Um. So, Luminen, you have you had dug your hooks in just as deep as you could, but you were not really prepared for someone who was willing to fight this hard. You can feel parts of Captain Pan ripping as you dig yourself in, try not to let go, but you are forcibly expelled in a cough of blood and curses. Um, you tumble back out, taking form. Captain Pan has control of his body again.
Ooh. Pretend this never happened?
He has blood on his teeth as he grins down at you and goes, "Oh no, no, I think not." He lunges for you. I'm going to need you to roll body.
Mm-hmm. That's a 1.
Oh, you do not. You don't dodge in time. Um, you try to roll out of the way, and his hook catches your wings. They tear. It is a long, ragged rip from top to bottom. That wing will never fly again.
I hit the ground. I've
Uh,
been hovering most of the time. I hit the ground. My feet touch it.
you are going to need to take one of the more serious conditions,
All
at
right.
least injured.
I will take injured.
All right. Uh, as for the rest of y'all, Lord, we done kicked a brownie. We done maimed a sylph. What are you going to do?
Breach here upon like climbing down Topaz and realizing, okay, maybe fighting with frying pans isn't the answer. And ACDC's "If You Want Blood, You Got It" starts playing. She just, okay. So Auntie Dot told me if if uh, fists and frying pans don't work, magic will. And she is going to cast what she calls Thunder the Gads. And what comes out of her hands is like the same cadence of the drums and the guitar riffs. And her eyes turn like the color of plasma. And she uses that rage to let out a very small but very good but gravelly. Um, and just through brute force pushes it at everybody, particularly at the temporariat, up their nose and through their eyes.
Okay. So mechanically, are you using this like a variant of Fire and Fist or just as a regular
Uh,
magic attack?
this is a regular magic attack.
All right, go ahead and roll your heart for me.
Okay. And I cannot use fighting again, right?
No.
Okay. Goddamn, Bree. Goddamn. In order from lowest to highest, a 2, a 5, a 5, and a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you have. So the good news is you got two fives. You have two hits with this. It absolutely lands. Plus you got a six. That's a hit with a boon. Also, you got a six. The void rises and laughs and grows again. As your magic launches across the stage, it swells. It strikes the Ozma Tipperary in the face. Uh, he finds himself unable to breathe. His air is taken away from him as it forces itself down his lungs. Up, just there's pressure. There's pressure in his skull. He can't breathe. He can't see. He stumbles. He falls to his knees. He takes two more damage. He has one hit left, unless you would like to go ahead and use that boon. If you would like to use that boon, you can tell me how this goes terribly wrong for him and hits another hit. Or you may save it in case one of your friends needs saving.
Hmm. She's gonna look at uh the floaty asshole and realize, oh no, he's hurt. And if I can make a movement to like get over there and like try to drag him out of there.
Okay, I'll let you use your boon to pull Lumen into safety. Not a problem. Uh, so there is a moment. There is a moment where you could expend just a little bit of extra pressure. Just a little is all it would take. But you see Luminance struggling. They have managed to almost get to their feet, but Captain Pan is stalking them. The slow, steady walk of someone who knows that they caught you 5 minutes ago. They're just waiting for you to realize that. Um, and you release that pressure. The Tipperary and Ozma falls to their knees. They are coughing up blood. They are clawing at the ground. As you dash across the ground, quickly eat up that space, get under Luminan's arms, and just quickly pull them out of the way as Captain Pan's hook slashes through the air, millimeters away from Luminan's throat was.
Okay, come on, Twinkle Toes. Let's book
Oh
it. Let's book
wow.
it.
Oh, okay,
Come
okay,
on,
yeah. Don't have
move,
to tell me
move.
twice.
Um, Stelly, you are alone in the middle of everything. There is blood flying. There are bodies falling. Everyone is so much bigger than you. Everything is happening all around you. What are you doing?
Oh boy. I'm gonna look around, take assessments. Alice is down. Uh, that hook fella seems really, really scary. The temperate guy seems to be on his last leg, so she's going to again take her little nub of a pencil, which is on its last legs, quickly draw out the calculation for the circumference of a circle and launch it over to where the Osmus temporary is kneeling on the ground bleeding and have it encircle him. And once it has encircled, write R equals 0, so that circle shrinks down to nothing, bisecting him.
All right.
That's so cool.
That's terrifying. Thank you
See,
for
this
that.
is why nobody,
You
Mathematical.
made math more scary. How's that?
that's why nobody likes math.
Scary math.
I'm
I
gonna
just
have you roll your magic one last time.
okay.
Come on, come on, come on.
344.
Mm,
Can
none
I
of
use a
the.
corruption?
You can use a corruption.
She's gonna draw that equation out, and she's getting a little bit frantic at just the madness happening around her. This is not at all anything she's ever experienced in her long, 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 long life. And in that sort of frenzy, she is going to use her rabid ferocity to automatically succeed on a heart check.
All right. So there is, if the humans were still here, they would recognize the light in your eye, the little twitch to your chin, the tick to your ear, They saw it themselves once in Wonderland. As you frantically scribble out the as you frantically scribble out the equation, rewrite it. It's a violent slash of letters. It soars through the air. The Tipperarius Ozma sees it coming. He gets to his knees. He starts to rise. He holds out his hand. There is almost an echo of the boy in him before you quickly dash out that last line and the circling closes. He looks at you and he blinks twice and he just goes, "Oh." And the top of him slides this way. The bottom of him collapses that way. The void laughs. It is a long, rolling laugh of joy. You look over and it's no longer just this small, fuzzy thing. It's so large. It's grown exponentially. It is bigger than the altar it's spilling off of. It's taking a shape. It's taking too many legs are getting together under it as it goes. I needed that.
Don't worry, we'll get you next.
I look to Stelly and say, "Dear me."
Dear I.
That's right. Hit that counter.
Y'all
That counted as 2 puns.
don't make me fire y'all in the last freaking half an hour of the
We
show.
need to be funny. This is scary.
I know it's very scary.
Bree,
She is
yeah,
Stelly
Bree
is
here just
breathing
looks at
heavy, her
Stelly and
small
she's like,
frame,
oh.
all hairs on end. If a deer could look absolutely like a wolf, this is what's happening right now. She has like if a deer could bare its teeth, which aren't super threatening, but she is just frenzied and like not super present, but done.
All right. Topaz, the twin anchors have not let up. They have continued to press you back closer and closer towards that blackened ice in the center of the island. They are they are drumming on you. They are chipping little pieces away. Would you like Are you going to stay on the defensive or would you like to try to attack?
A little bit of both. I'm going to take a defensive stance with my like I'm gonna do like a little bit of Wakanda Forever vibes with my arms and just push the push the energy back to the best of my ability. And I'm going to mark to permanent shadow,
No.
and I am going to since they are twins, do that. I'll let you decide. So I'm going to do my petrification move, which I mark to shadow, and I turn one creature to stone forever. So I want to take that petrification energy and convert the energy that they're shooting at me back at them and like send it back in their direction.
Okay. This is what happens. Mark your two shadow.
Oh, I will. I love shadow. Bring it
The void stands. It swells. It's filling the space over and above all of you. It looms over everything, a wave cresting as you echo back those sounds, the vibrations. You scream in rage and in fear, and slowly you see them freeze. You see the look of terror in their eyes as they cannot move their foot. Uh, they look down, you all look down, and their feet are crystal. It's racing jaggedly up their bodies in patches. It's not consistent. It's faster on this leg than there. It's creeping up their neck. It's shooting across their face. They try to scream, but it's spilling out of their mouth. It's fast, but probably not as fast as they would have liked it to have been. You look at them. You've never you've never done anything like that. You didn't think it would look like that. And that's really the last thing you have time to think is you didn't think it would look like that as the void crashes down on all of you, laughing, swollen, empowered. So, there's a lot of bad news. There's a lot of bad news, which is that right now, the void is stronger than it's ever been. Everything you have done to defeat it has only empowered it more. You are trapped in the heart of it, and it is absolutely devouring you. You can feel yourself becoming unreal. Captain Pan is screaming. He is clawing at it. He is trying to dig his way out with the hook. He is dissolving faster than any of you. He is cursing and betrayed. Uh, and so you guys get closer. You reach out to each other. It's all you have left. And as your hands touch, as you try to find that last little bit of solace, there is light. It starts at your fingertips. It kind of swells. You feel it welling up in you, and you hear a voice. You hear Milo's voice. And Milo says, "Are you ready?"
Says goodbye, everyone.
Hope to see you all when it is rebuilt.
It was a joy to know you all.
If we see each other again, I really hope we become friends.
There is a crash as you are engulfed. There is a nothingness. There is silence that is filled with laughter because the void has won. The void has won. The anchors are gone and the worlds are dead and the champions have been devoured. And there is nothing left but silence. Silence is an indigestion. Silence is silence is something in the guts. Oh no, the void has bubble guts. The void has bubble guts. There is light. It is hot and it is shining. It is piercing through. There is a scent of roses, fresh and heady, as thorns begin to break through. There is the smell of the hot summer sun and of fresh ocean air wafting through the cracks, being ripped open from the void's velvety insides. There's the smell of deep, rich earth. There are words, there are calculations, there is laughter, and there is power as your hands, human hands, push through. Human fingers pull their way out. Benny, you you manage to pull through first. Your head bursts through. You reach through and you grab Melanie. You heave her out. You reach back in. Rhett clasps your arms. You give him a mighty heave and Rhett tumbles out. On his feet, no less. Good job, Rhett.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
Martial
Talia,
arts classes.
right? Talia is very gently lifted and put daintily on her feet. And your good friend Melody just scrambles out. She just barely needs just the slightest little tug. The five of you stand together atop the writhing, screaming void. It says no. It screams, "No, I have won. I have won. You cannot do this. I have won."
I don't think that's how the story ends.
Not
You
at
haven't won
all.
jack shit, pal.
What'd you say?
Told you we'd get you eventually.
Uh,
You know what? And Melody says this with a very shit eating grin. And she holds on to Benny's hand, looks to her friends. I have a story for you of a girl who lost her memories and spent the rest of her life wondering why she felt like there was something at her heels, who had to fear the smell of burning pines and the ridicule of her peers and the feeling of failure whenever her mind left her to remember just a sliver of what happened when she went missing, of the friends who comforted her when she failed, and of a pendant she wears and with no idea how she got it. That little girl feared the dark, feared going back to the pines. She had to claw her way back to a life where she could feel safe and whole again, missing memories or not. And she did. She turned the trauma that into something that could help others who might be able to go through what she went through. Even if she couldn't remember what happened, she could help kids who felt scared and work through that. So they can see that even when there is horror, when there is darkness and void, there was light. That they could use that fear to fight back and cope with the pain of growing up. That the failures of your past do not defy you. You have haunted me for so many years that I hid from the world and what you did to me and my friends. You took so much from me, haunted me, and hurt the ones I care about. Talia, Rhett, Orchid, Melody. Benicio, Hatter, Rabbit, everyone who came before. How dare you do this to so many innocent lives for your amusement? I want you to know something about storytellers. They live. They live through the stories that are passed on about little girls who get lost, about elephants and stories for little boys on their 10th birthday and their moms who have to see them get taken, of so many beautiful creatures who stand up and help those along the way, even when they are terrified to do so. You call yourself the Void? Fine. But I want you to know something. You may be real, but you will never have the power over me or anyone else ever again. And she holds on to dear life of the pendant and holding on to Benny's hand. Go back to the pines and where you belong and fade away from the world's stories.
Woo, you tell them.
All right. That was fantastic.
Did you rehearse that? It's quite impressive.
Uh, the void screams, it writhes, um, it bellows, it is shrinking under your words. But guess what, y'all? I have a special surprise for y'all. Our last player has landed. Ah, so we are going to take a very, very super quick, unscheduled break, just like 2 minutes, long enough to patch Knox in so that Knox can be with us here for the very end, and we will be right back. I promise we're only going to be like 2 minutes. we're back.
Ah.
And look who we have. Look who I brought. Now look, didn't I tell you the void split open and all the humans popped out? Uh,
We found one more. She was she was stuck in the cracks. It took her a minute
uh,
to pop out.
yeah. So Melanie has just given her speech to the void. It is writhing and bellowing. It is trying to lash out at all of you, but you all glow. You contain within you every single bit of energy, of magic, of belief, of the lands that you represent. Every being that was there that believed in their anchor is contained within you. Every bit of ground that was loved, every story that sprung from it, every story that was told there is in you. You are the anchor. You have the power. Use it.
Right? Is it time for our big, cool, big attacks?
Oh, I think it is. I think you should definitely fuck it up, son.
All right. So Benny holds Melanie's hand, smiles, and then he, out of his jacket, wraps around his neck what looks to be a big white scarf that you realize is made out of the word scarf. And he says, I got your letters. I'm not going to lose you again. And Benny crouches down, takes a deep inhale, his big barrel of a chest inflates, and wind magic starts to swirl around him. He's always been comfy with it, but now there is an extra swirl of rainbow light moving around him as if luminance powers with him as well. And he flies upwards into the nothingness. All of these words that say whoosh coming around him as the powers of the phantom toll roads zoom around him, and all of the wind starts to coalesce above him in this big thundercloud. He reaches his hook sword into it, pulls back in one fluid motion, but then he grabs onto something. And then he starts to vibrate with energy and he shouts, "Lightning!" And he throws down a big word that says lightning shaped like a lightning bolt down into the void below.
Excellent. Now, if this was any other bad guy, that would have been an instant kill. But because the void is so powerful, it will take essentially an instant kill from each of you. But a fifth of its health is gone. Benny has injured the void greatly. It shrinks in on itself. It's whimpering. It's screaming. But it's still fighting.
I got an idea. Can I go next?
Oh, please.
I'm coming up with my move on the fly. I'm not prepared like everyone else, but I think it's going to be good. Rhett steps up and says, "Oh, that was quite amazing, Benny. Anyway, I know everyone doubted the utility and value of the fanny pack, but let me demonstrate something that I've been practicing. I found this little artifact at the bottom of the lagoon. It happens to have the powers of all of the crewmates that have died on Hook's vessel. And I'm gonna unzip my fanny pack, so zzz, and then open it up, and then a bunch of like spirits of ghosts come rushing out, like that scene in Lord of the Rings. Um, Except they're all pirates, and they all have fanny packs, and they just charge headlong into the void with sabers in hand, just slashing at the energy and like blasting it with their ghost spells.
Yes, Davy Jones fanny pack. Yes, that's the
That's
best
exactly.
ultimate move anyone's ever created.
How did we get here?
Made fun of my fanny
I
pack all
don't
season. It
know.
came back in the end to save the day, didn't it? Okay.
Um, this
Melanie like
this
looks at him and it's like, I'm still burning it.
this stream of absolute freaking pirates, all just this clown car of pirates pouring out of your fanny pack like a SpongeBob episode, swarming over the void. It takes 1,000 little ghost cuts. It shrinks. It writhes. They are dragging little pieces pieces of it down as they disappear into nothing. They take little parts of the void with it. It is deeply wounded even as it continues to lash out. Melody.
I don't know how I'm supposed to top that, but I can certainly try. I've learned a few new tricks. She's gonna take her giant graphite pencil that was gifted to her by the lovely Topaz, and in the air, try to calculate the volume of the void that's left. It is impossible to do so. It is writhing. It is infinite. It is just beyond comprehension for volumetric calculations. So instead, she looks down at it. It has to be made of something. Right now, it looks pretty darn fluid. So she is going to calculate crystalline matrices that latch onto the void and, like fractals, spread out from one point and freeze it and solidify it into these jagged crystalline structures of inky dark blackness. It would look like obsidian if it weren't made of absolute terror. Um, and with one last slash of that giant graphite pencil, slash through, sending a wave of numbers. Anything she can think of to write in this moment. Numbers with sharp edges. No eights here. Ones, fives, things with corners. And shatter this crystallized chunk of the void.
All right. The shape that you see that surges out of the void's back, sharp and crystalline, this blooming mass that's soaking in this writhing, screaming darkness, looks so familiar. It looks like the shape of the island you're on. Everything is cyclical. The void begins to tighten up, it begins to lock. The numbers are slicing away at everything not quite inside. They're cutting it down to size. It's taken damage again. Talia, what do you do?
Knocks, 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 knocks.
Nox's phone is gonna fight with her just because I called her name.
She's
It's
got an
like,
extra adversary.
right, the void is here for her today.
Fuck the void.
And fuck the void.
Hey, I never met you before, Benny says to Talia. Nice to meet you. Rhett's talked so much about you.
All of it's super nice too. You know what? She'll refresh the page. I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna jump to Melanie. We'll come back to you. Shears, why don't you tell us what the attack you launch is?
After saying her monologue, Benny had told her actions speak louder than words. They do. You know what lasts longer? What infects the mind? Words. As she has done with the wizard, as she's done with the shadow pan, she looks to Benny and says, Benny, your name is Benicio Aguilar. My name is Melanie Elena Kurt. And she looks to the void, holds out the hand with her champion's powers, the fire and the spirit of the red caps, and asks the void, Hey, don't lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? And as she says that, you hear laughter, like very deranged laughter, coming from her shadow, rising up like the pines. And the doors emerge. She does what she couldn't do before. You hear Leadbelly. You hear Kurt Cobain, rest in peace. Um, you also hear a musician who was rumored to have sold his soul to the devil to play the guitar. It is haunting. It is horrifying. She takes her pen out and repeats the words, "Where did you sleep last night?" The doors open, and from each of the doors, if you've ever watched Cabin in the Woods, that scene. And she tells every single door she now remembers, fade into obscurity, fade away, do not return. You will face me again, and it will not be pretty. And she stands up straight with all of the regality of a queen and says, once again, with confidence, "Close."
Um, doors snap shut. Uh, walls begin to build around doors. This crystal matrix that Melody has set up has continued to grow. It has continued to suck up the void. You find that it is quickly being shaped into, it's not quite the glass palace gleaming darkly that Luminen had originally shaped, but it's not unlike it. The void screams, it twists, it bellows as it finds itself being forced from nothing to everything, from shapeless to shaped, from ain't to is. There is no destroying the void. The best you can do is use the void as material to make something better. It screams, it writhes, it curses, it shatters. There is an echo, a ripple, a buffering bellow of wind. It knocks you all flat. Your heads hit the ground. It's sharp, it's dark, it's silent. You blink a couple times, you try to fight against it. You are all rendered insentient. You are unconscious. You do not know what happens next. No one knows what happens next, really. It's probably for the best. Creation is a messy thing. No one really. There are some things that you don't need to see. Some things are best left happening behind the curtains. So we're going to leave you guys, our heroes, our anchors, the saviors of fantasy, of the mundane, the winners of a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad road trip. We're going to leave them unconscious like two hobbits upon a mountain. I love that. How you just go leave Sam and Frodo just hot, just
And
like
then make you think the movie's over, and then it's
knew
like
the
pop.
Eagles were coming, but still, you're like, how would you leave them like that? What an asshole. I understand now. Sometimes you just got to leave some hobbits on a hill. Let's leave my hobbits on a hill and check in on them a year later. So it is a year later. We find ourselves standing at the edge of a bunch of different worlds. Through the magic mirror in Melanie's Emerald City, we can see a variety of celebrations happening. We see aboard the ship, The Jolly Roger has docked right outside of Plain City. There is an enormous party happening. There is a statue, a very large one of Topaz, that has been erected in the center of town. There is an 11th birthday party happening underneath it. When you look over to Wonderland, you see that Talia sits at a table full of charmingly dressed and not at all rabid wildkin. They are happily sitting with their queen, serving her and her guests tea. One of them keeps trying unsuccessfully to sneak the fanny pack off her guest, but he's being a really good sport about it, particularly since his shadow keeps popping up with its little missing tooth and distracting the wildkin in play. Queen Red, Queen Red, Queen Talia and Captain Red.
Well, a little bit sometimes. It depends.
Oh, sometimes Queen Talia and Captain Red give a little cheer with their teacups out in what used to be an execution garden, but is now just a garden. There is a beautiful, it's not a statue. It would seem unworthy to build a statue in Pie's honor. But the tree that has been grown there is significantly larger than the tree that you would expect. For only a year old, it's very big. Um, there is there is a party happening in a mountain. No one is digging. There is, in fact, it looks like there has been a museum set up in this enormous mountain. A bunch of numbers are giving tours to word merchants who are really trying to see if maybe they have a better word for this sign or that sign. Look, I'm not saying that the capitalism is working there, but they're trying something. Good for them. Digitopolis and Dictionopolis are attempting to thrive. They're being taken care of. There are statues of Luminen and of Stella in both cities, side by side. And finally, we pan back to Queen Melanie of Oz. She sits on her emerald throne and she looks out the window. There is a statue would not really look right. It's just Fertia was so she was a active girl. It's a kinetic kind of thing. It's a series of like windsocks where the Emerald City is all red. This is a series of is all green. This is a series of moving red silk that constantly flows on the wind. There are homages to the true heroes. You have done your duty. Why don't you go ahead and take us out and tell us what you guys do on this final day, this good day?
In the year that Melanie has become the writer queen, she has a ritual every morning. Wake up, get dressed, make sure that she has some very powerful tea, especially when diplomats arrive. She writes her name. My name is Melanie Elena Kurt. My friends are Talia, Rhett, Melody. The one I care for is Benicio Aguilar. And during that time, she has created doors using the magic of the mirror and the girdle. There are many doors, of course. For whenever someone visits, they have a place to stay. For Melody, it is a geologist's paradise. with a bunch of paperback cryptid novels and the complete DVD set of Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. Fight me. For Talia, I, the player, being a fellow knitter and crafter, it is a giant yarn paradise with as many knitting needles and stitch markers as you need. For Rhett, she couldn't figure out what Rhett liked, so she had to write him a few times. But she figured it out and created the Fanny Pack Emporium for his room. It is usually under lock and key, so no one goes in there. For Benny, she took the most time. She recreated the blue amanita with open sky, ocean breezes, and day and night cycles. For her own room, she's put strict orders that no one goes into it unless they knock. For if you were to open the door, you would not enter a room. You would enter the house of a 1920s bungalow in Port Jefferson, New York. Designed down to the very last detail of her home on Long Island, with photos of her family, with photos of Talk, after she convinced him that a camera is not evil, books from all of her series and all of her fan letters, every letter she kept in correspondence with the others, every letter she sent to Benny and she received from him. And on the table by her desk, her writing desk, grows an orchid as a reminder. And on each door, for all of them, melody, numbers, a geologist kit. For Rhett, the forbidden fanny pack. For Talia, knitting needles. And for Benny, the logo of the Amanita Blue. For her, it is of an emerald that shines like the pines. And on her desk sits the newest copy of her books. And listening to the music that plays on a record player, is the one song she always wanted to hear after so many years. Where did you sleep last night? Hey girl, don't lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? With that, she closes her door and goes to see her friends and welcomes them and says, well, you're welcome to stay as long as you need. And she looks down to Talk, who wears the royal regalia of the Writer Queen, a pen with ink of emeralds, and gives him scritches and holds on to her cane and looks to Benny and says, and smiles and just says, "My name is Melanie Elena Kurt," and holds up the matching locket that she and he created for her that has the same thing that she created for him. "Keep my name, and I will do the same."
Then he just clutches the locket in understanding, smiles.
With her, the last bit of her magic, she opens her hands and says, "Gather around. It's time for another story."
All right, guys. It's time for another story. Is there are there any final words that anyone else would like to get out?
Um, I would not really, but I would say that like Rhett just seems like just really happy to be in the position he's in. I guess as Captain Queen.
Pirate Queen Rat.
Just all the difference he's made. I don't know. Just he seems way more content and way less rude than he maybe was before.
Okay. So I guess we're seeing a much more confident version of Rhett sailing across the deadly desert on a Johnny Do It rig, so that he all of a sudden you got a duck boat. The Jolly Roger goes from land to sea and back again. No one is safe.
uh, for Benny, I'll say that above all, he's so happy with the fact that he's alive, that Melanie's alive, that everyone's alive, that we did it, that his original goal of making sure that no other children were taken into this world without them wanting to has been fulfilled. He greatly respects Rhett for that. He very happily spends his time on the Phantom Toll Roads when he needs to with Melody. And I'm sure there's a budding friendship with Talia. They probably like skip stones together or do other like, you know, what all the cool kids do. Um, he does often think about the fact that his dad back in 1923, you know, suddenly had a son vanish. So I think one day on a whim, he uses all the power that he learned from ruling Dictionopolis to take a cue from Melanie, try not just to use actions but words. And he writes on a paper airplane a letter to his father, just telling him that he's safe. He needs to get mom over to the US from Batangas. They need to live full lives. He folds the letter and throws the paper plane through the mirror, hoping that time and space will carry it where it needs to go. Maybe feeling the unknown hand of a jackass sylph guiding a paper plane once again. Um, and during his time with Melanie, he says, "You know, at the end of all this, at the end of everything, even if I could go back, even if I could have lived a life, there's nowhere else I'd wish to be but here."
"There's nowhere else I'd wish to be. I'm glad I stayed."
Benny out.
I think for Melody, one of her first acts as ruler, queen, whatever of Digitopolis would be to ensure that none of the numbers ever have to work in slavery again. She never reinstates the blockchain. That's done and gone. Um, with her, what she is completely convinced is earthbending, she blows the top off of the mountain that is the mine and institutes the museum there so that people will never be left in the dark, literally and figuratively. She catalogs the different minerals that she finds, and they're taking comfort in the solitary work for a while, the work that she's always done. But she has gone through too much in this short time in Reverie, or is it a long time? Who knows? Time is a weird soup here. That she does begin to seek out her human friends. Benny is the initial first choice. He's right next door. He's our next door neighbor.
Hello.
Hi. And together they establish trade routes, travel the Phantom Toll Road together, and make that happen. But little by little, she kind of grows outside of that solitary work she's done for so long, becomes a little less afraid of human interaction than she'd been, as friendly as she's always been. She had been scared to really make any real connections, real relationships, and now she knows that this is her family now and forever while she is in Reverie. And she finds great and immense joy in that, because these are some fine individuals indeed.
They really are. Um, wow, you guys did it. You saved the world. You saved the day. You saved fantasy and reality. If this was real, you absolutely saved all our lives. But don't worry, it's totally not. We all did not come this close to dying because none of this is real. Don't worry about it. Um, I've been Arnica, your GM for this fantastic, wild, amazing story that these outrageously talented people have shared with me. We're going to go around. We're going to do a real quick goodbye from all of them because we're running late and people have things to do and it's nighttime. So let's say goodbye to the cast one last time. Let's start with Rosie.
On me, I just did my emotional epilogue, and you're gonna start on me. Um, Hi, I'm Rosie, SweetRosieBee, just about everywhere. I was Melody Herzbook and Stelly Pinehart on this amazing, terrible, horrible, no good, very bad road trip that was actually a wonderful and amazing road trip, despite all the twists and turns. You can find me not tomorrow, but next Tuesday over on Greater Restoration. We have just started Hymns of Humblewood. I am a Minnesotan crow lady that makes jello because why not? And then this Saturday, I feel so bad Knox isn't here to toot her own horn, but it is the premiere of her show, School of the Stars, right here on Girls Run These Worlds. I cannot wait. I will be playing, I do not remember her name right now because I am far too emotional. Insert here. Um, but I'm very, very excited for that. It is going to be a hoot and a half, and already it has gone off the rails. So we'll see how that goes when we get there. Join us and see some magical shenanigans.
Awesome. Let's say goodbye to Leland.
Hey everybody. My gecko survived and now lives in the statue of Topaz. So I just want to go ahead and state that for clarification for those of you at home that may have been wondering about what happened to the gecko. Um, anyway, uh, hey, I'm Leland slash Leopold the Just on the internet.coms. This was super fun and super emotional and super all sorts of other super things. I'm not good at expressing my feelings. Um, but no, I really like this a lot. All of the media that it drew from was, stuff. Most of it was stuff I enjoyed growing up in some various form or another. But yeah, just thanks so much for having me. I hate that I missed 2 sessions, but I guess I missed less than Julie, so that's good. Anyway, all right.
Okay, Julie. Let's say goodbye.
Well, everyone, it's been a rocky road, and I hate to leave all you dear people here. But my name is Julie or Julie CL. Yeah, throw that timer. Cheers. Get rid of the whole thing. Uh, I am a TTRPG streamer, Twitch affiliate, um, writer, actor, etc. You can check out my audio series, The Realm Tree, wherever you get your podcasts. I recently guest starred on the improv comedy podcast, Nice to Meet You. I just started writing for Couch Soup. A lot has happened this week. Um, I'm teaching acting and improv and TTRPG classes. There's still slots left for Wednesday, but there's also a whole course coming soon. And truly, thank you to all of these amazing people. Thank you to Arnica for letting me play. Uh, Getting to tell my first authentically Filipino Pinoy story start to finish as Benny, not like a Filipino coded character in fantasy, but Benny was 100% Pinoy. Very grateful that I got to tell that story start to finish here on this channel. And Luminen was the first mean character I played, so thank you for that too.
Oh, you have much to learn, young Padawan. I play
Truly.
nothing but mean characters.
Absolutely. And cheers.
I'm always caught off guard here because a certain somebody made me yeet the goddamn counter.
Ooh.
You eat the counter.
I warned you. Hi, everybody. My name is Bloodthread Shears, Shears for short. I played Melanie Elena Kurt and Bree Tier Spotted Cap. Rest in peace. Where you can find me, I have a link tree in the channel because I am Legion. I go by many names. I am a streamer. I am a professional photographer. I am the head of Different Drum Photography. And if you're looking for somebody to do headshots, boudoir, events, whatever you like, with the exception of weddings, go to my website, www.differentdrumphotography.com. Also, I am a belly dancer who is going on my 9th year dancing. And you see that little skirt in the back? Come see me. If you're in Bethpage, New York, come see me this Saturday at around 8 p.m. I have the tweet up on Twitter. Come see me dance. And hopefully, I will go on to 10 years. So if you are in Long Island or in the city or in Queens, whatever, wherever I'm going, I will be very loud about it. Come see me and all the wonderful dancers of the El Nojun troupe and say hi. Be nice, but say hi. And also, I just want to give a shout out to Knox and to So Much Panache for being amazing people. I have had the honor and privilege to work with everybody here, and I am going to get very emotional, but I will say I am a better player for all the folks here at this table, and I am blessed and honestly amazed and blown away by everybody who came in and did everything. So, my last words are, as always, hire these amazing folks, give them your money. Go check
Well,
out Julie's seminars and go hire Leland because he's a professional DM and he's awesome.
all of that is true. All
Give
right,
them your
everyone.
money. Bye bye.
It's been amazing. Thank you so much for having been with us these past 10 episodes. Um, it's been an honor to tell this story with you. A special thanks to my cast who are all here in front of you tonight: Rosie, Leland, Julie, and Shears. An especially special thank you to So Much Panache Ash, who started this campaign with us as Orchid but was unable to continue for personal reasons. And a huge shout out to Knox, who we love, who went out of her way to try to rejoin us at the end of this episode for the finale. But look, when you're traveling, and sometimes real life happens. It has been fantastic to share this story with you. My cast has been amazing. Round of applause at home for them. You can catch us this week. You can catch me tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, as I play Captain Jack for Heroes of Helicon City with Anita the Lesbian. Uh, on Wednesday at the same time, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, 7:30. I don't remember what time I play Animorphs, but I play Animorphs Wednesday nights on Valorant's channel. I take Thursdays off, and you can join us Friday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time back here for Aliens, where I'm playing Captain Leah Davis. I am definitely not stuck in the med bay holding a scalpel with something skittering in the air vents over my head. That's absolutely not where we left off. And because she's not here, do not miss Knox on Saturday. School Stars, you're not going to want to miss that show. It will be fantastic. Check out our zine, and we're going to go ahead and raid out to. Oh, who are we raiding to? So they told me like 5 times, but now we've talked a whole bunch. We're going to go see Total Party Chill. It's been wonderful. Thank you all for being our audience. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
y'all.